What is up, everybody? I'm NoLucksGiven, and today we are going to take a look at a Zelhua game and talk about treesitioning. And treesitioning is a term that I coined originally while playing a Zelhua game because Zelhua is so good at treesitioning, or just transitioning in general, because all of the late game units are so much cheaper. So you can actually afford to sometimes purchase cards for multiple comps at the same time, and that's what we're going to look at in this game. And we're going to talk about if it's better to be playing dwarves or trees in in this specific instance at the very least. And we're going to start by picking up Fanny just so that we can get rid of it and roll the die. I felt like rolling the die there was good because of Cinderella, but either we get a 2/6 or we get a 2/2 Polywoggle. Either way, pretty reasonable. I'm not going to worry about Polywoggle after that, especially on Zelhua, just to pay 2 to get a 4-drop. Yes, a little bit ahead of the curve, but generally on Zelhua, I just avoid the Polywoggles and don't give them too much attention. We are going to wind up taking a little bit of damage from Gwen's Humpty Dumpty, but then we get to pick up a Humpty Dumpty of our own on 2.2 against Skip, and I imagine we'll probably pick that up alongside either the Minotaur or the Baby Dragon, and that'll give us a pretty nice board here for turn 3, which I think will allow us to win this combat and potentially the next one as well. So we'll see how this goes, and we are going to potentially get our egg cracked, but it's all going to work out. We're going to get to hang on to that egg for one more turn, and that's going to help us next turn as well, which is really great. It's nice to just have as much health on Zelhua as possible before you go into level 4 when you actually get to make use of your hero power. I'll roll the die and it's going to land on Spellweaver, and then I do believe I'm going to wind up picking up Humpty Dumpty, and then I imagine just doing a roll. Don't really see anything else here that is speaking to me in any capacity. We are going to be playing up against Sadrak this combat, so yeah, excuse me. We are going to be letting them get a sleigh, but I think that we are still set up well for this stage of the game. Oh, I might not realize that I can roll because I picked up a tier 3 unit and a tier 2 unit, so I picked up 5 gold worth of units, so I actually didn't realize that I still had a gold that I could spend there. So, oh well. Our opponent is going to be pretty big, pretty strong. Does look like they are set up well to crack some of my eggs. They don't have a back line, but they do have a pretty strong front line here. Unfortunately for us, that is going to mean they wind up winning and cracking both of our eggs, which is kind of a bummer. But we only take 6, I guess, so the eggs did their job. We are really hurting, though, now that we don't really have any units. Yeah, we still need to try to not die for as long as we can. So I end up taking this stag here, and then the forbidden fruit, and then we'll just roll and try to purchase another 3-cost unit. And I do see a 3-cost unit there. The doubly is not super exciting just yet, though we can put it behind the stag, so at least it's potentially getting a little bit more stats this turn. And then for next turn, we can prepare to pick up the Fanny and the Crafty, just so that we can get some units and kind of slowly get back into the game, because we are definitely hurting a little bit right now. And then we'll also be able to cast the Falling Stars for free next turn and grab a level 2 treasure from Cindy, which will pump the Crafty a little bit too. So we're not looking super strong this turn, though we do have that 7/7 doubly, like I said. And it would have been nice if the Baby Dragon could have killed the support or something like that, but I do think we're going to walk away from this one with a loss, and that's going to put us down to 27. Definitely not feeling super hot after getting both of our eggs cracked, but maybe we can start to put something together here now. I'll take a look at what the treasure is before I do anything else, and Spinning wheel seems fine as anything else, and then I'll pick up this crafty and Fanny, and that is going to just allow us to play a slightly stronger board here. A 5-5, a 6-6, nothing too crazy, but we'll take it. And then we do have the opportunity to pick up another dwarf here as well, and there's also a Princess White in the shop. And it does... I don't really love dwarves at the current time, but I do think I'm pretty incentivized to try to take Princess White here and try to just do something with dwarves, just to get a little bit more stats on the current board. It's awkward. If I were to like just pick up the doubly, I wouldn't actually even be able to play it. I mean, I could play it behind the stag, but it's got less stats than the crafty does, is all that I mean by that. So I'm going to pick up the Princess White and then just lock the other doubly, which is going to give the doubly an additional +2/+2, and maybe just help our chances at playing it next turn. And we'll be able to play the Tiny as well, just as a 7/2. It's not the most powerful thing you can do on 4.0 as Zelhua, but it is just going to give us at least a little bit more power to potentially put something together. And I do think we're going to wind up taking a loss on this one as well. We do have this ranged unit, which could maybe do something. No, it can die. That's all it can do. Okay, so we take 6 more damage, down to 21. Not looking super hot. Time to turn this one around. Let's pick up the doubly. I think I even like grabbing the baby root that just rolled into the shop just to give the doubly some plus health, but we wind up rolling into Lady of the Lake, so that's even better. I knew that the doubly got some additional health this turn. I thought it was baby root, but yeah, rolling and picking up Lady of the Lake, a 17 or a 7/17. That is definitely a respectable unit, and now Stag is pumping up 2 ranged units as well, and then we just have a 5/5 and a 7/2, so not too shabby. I should be playing the crafty over the second doubly, like I brought up earlier, just missed that because I wound up picking up the buffed up doubly and then switching them around, so that kind of threw me for a loop there. Earthquake is going to take out Tiny, which is a little bit unlucky, but we do get to attack with Stag, so I guess it is a fair trade-off. And then we've got a bunch of ranged units, and I think that might translate into a win. This is going to be a close combat regardless here. My opponent also with a bunch of ranged units, but when they attack my non-ranged unit, it's actually really, really good for us, so that is going to allow us to get pretty lucky and win this combat there off of a 20%er. We could go in for the Nutcracker because we do have Lady of the Lake, though I'm not super incentivized to grab that. I think I'd rather even potentially put like a Greedy in that slot because it is a dwarf. I do think I want to grab some additional copies of these supports here as well, the Fanny and then the Lady of the Lake, to give a little bit more power to the board. Then we'll roll, see if we can triple anything. We are going to be able to triple Fanny, so that's pretty good. That's going to give some additional stats to doubly. And I'll probably just go for Fairy Tale at this point. Just try to grab a little bit more stats on the various dwarves that we're playing. And then I think I'm going to cut the Stag and sell off one of my other units so that we can pick up this Greedy and potentially start getting some additional cash. Greedy is definitely one of the biggest incentives to play dwarves at the moment, in addition to just large doublies that you can make. We'll see. We are playing up against the highest health player in the lobby, but they are a Geppetto. So maybe we can farm them a little bit with getting some additional gold triggers on my greedies if they've got some black cats or things like that. And they do have 1 black cat, but then they also have a bunch of other pretty large units. And that is going to mean that I get 2 hits on my greedy, but not too much more than that. And then they've got a large crafty themselves, and I think we're going to be taking some damage pretty shortly after that. And they upgrade their Polywoggle against us too. That gives them an upgraded Aeon, and we take 9 down to 12. So it's not going super great for us. We will get to pick up another greedy this turn, and now one more dwarf gives us a tier 3 treasure. Fortunately, hi-ho does not count as purchasing a dwarf, so I'm gonna roll on past that, and then I'll pick up Fanny. That's as good as anything else here. That's going to give us a tier 3 treasure off Princess White, and I'll grab Treasure Map. And now I'm really rolling, seeing, because we've got the greedy double, we've got the doubly double, and I'd like to grab an upgraded treasure this turn. Phoenix Feather, not typically something that you think about being super strong at this stage of the game. Singing Sword would obviously be pretty good if we wanted to try to go into trees or something, but Phoenix Feather is one of the better treasures on dwarves as well. So yeah, I'm happy to be able to pick that up here, and that is going to give us some pretty solid units of 1533 and then an 1121. And then what we could also do is put the Fanny in, and that would pump up the... No, I guess the greedy would still probably be our biggest unit for the Phoenix Feather regardless. So let's just stay the course with these things, and hopefully now we can get some additional cash with these greedies and get some... just kind of get the ball rolling. Oh, and also, yeah, stop losing combats with this Phoenix Feather. That's what I was going to say. And the greedy will come back if it dies, which is kind of cute too. We are going to wind up not even having it die, and we get a decent amount of extra cash this turn. We've got 18 gold now because of the spinning gold. And I feel like this is where we can start to transition. We're making a bunch of extra gold with the greedy. I probably do want to spend the time to also pick up Angries, but that is the flexibility that Zelhua gives you. Probably just sell off this Crafty, not really playing that, or the Fanny at the moment, but I do think I want to pick up both of these Angries, and that those will add some nice power to the board. And hopefully we can pick up either another tree or another dwarf that we've already got some copies of. Okay, we do get to pick up another tree before the turn ends, and we also get a falling star, so that's going to give us a ton of extra stats and a ton of extra cash on the greedy, and then those stats are going to translate into more cash as well. So yeah, pretty sweet that we have kind of started to put something together, and we've kind of started the transition already, which Zelhua, like I said, has a little bit more flexibility to do. Maybe on another hero, I wouldn't be so bold to pick up a pair of Burning Trees when I'm at 12 health and haven't been the strongest, but you can see I was 100% to win my last combat, and I feel like we got a lot stronger this turn with that pickup of double Angry. So feeling pretty good. Phoenix Feather is going to resummon the greedy for us here, and then we're going to get some additional stats on it from these Angries, and we'll grab some additional cash as well. So this is going really good now. The greedy is going to be able to do some nice battling with the Lancelot in the front row. My opponent is going to be pretty strong, but we are going to be able to win the fight and hit them for a nice little chunk of damage, but not killing them. They are still in it. That would be like the benefit of like just spending all of my gold on dwarves, is that maybe we get some more kill shots here. And now here's another choice, is like Mimic Chest is better if we, well, honestly, Staff of the Old Toad pretty good if we want to play dwarves too. But Staff of the Old Toad, I think, is definitely going to be better if we want to play trees, because we don't really need the Phoenix Feather Mimic Chest for trees. That is more the dwarves thing. And if we just take the Staff of the Old Toad, then we can potentially find some more Burning Trees right now, and that can definitely be good for us. Then we find some XP. That will allow us to level up and find some Ashwood Elms and Echo Woods to actually make use of these Burning Trees and start to playing it. Though 349, it is definitely getting to the point where it is just playable, but we'll hang on to it here for another second, and we don't really have to win this combat. We just have to not lose it too bad, and then we're set up really well going into 6.0. we'll be able to pick up some more trees and transition pretty nicely here. My opponent is going to get a Polywoggle Sleigh, and that's going to give them an Ashwood Elm, which is a little bit annoying because it's going to just make it that much harder for us to find Ashwood Elms. But as a a unit with just no stats on it, I can't really complain that much because we are able to farm our opponent pretty well here by just having a bunch of their things like attack into greedy and stuff. So that's pretty nice, and is going to mean that we do walk away with a win, all things considered. They've got a bunch of extra health though, so they have got a bunch of gold going into 6.0, and they just got an upgraded Ashwood Elm. So that is like my competition right now. And then I find this board, double Lordy plus Echowood, and I consider just selling my Burning Tree, but you know what, for now we can sell these Ladies of the Lake. And one of the reasons I really consider selling the Burning Tree is because my opponent just picked up all of those Ashwood Elms. So let's get rid of one of the Burning Trees here to grab onto this Echowood, and then we'll throw these doublies back in because those will really help this Echowood grow. And then I find an Ashwood Elm, and I really thought I wasn't going to be able to find Ashwood Elm. I kind of liked that I have the Burning Trees though, because that means that the Sadrak can't find them. And now I'm kind of into playing these trees again. And yeah, I'll roll a little bit more, and then I think, yeah, I find a Green Knight right here on this turn. I can Beauty's Influence the Ashwood Elm and kind of go back to playing trees again, even though I was never in it in the first place. And then I'll throw in the Greedy and the Lordy at the last second just to potentially do something with that. But definitely a weird game here, kind of on the fence about should I play dwarves, should I play trees, and with the hero power of Zelhua, you don't really have to commit to that decision one way or the other. You can kind of just pick up the stuff for both and see what happens. And wind up, I think trees is going to be more powerful for us. Maybe we had a good enough dwarf setup that we could have run with it, but I felt like the, we already had so many Burning Trees too that it was worth at least trying to go for. Definitely worth picking up Hercules, that's pretty sweet. I'll just sell off this Fanny, and no reason to cast the Falling Stars either anymore now that we are no longer playing the Greedy even. And I'll just roll a little bit, and then I'll find an Echowood. So now I'm like officially out of dwarves, even though Echowood works with dwarves too, but I'm even out of Hercules. And then of course, as soon as I sell the Lordy, I find another Lordy. So just very silly, a little bit of like trolling from the game, I feel like, and considering Shard of the Ice Queening the Hercules just to potentially find another Ashwood Elm. I know that Sadrak has got a bunch of the Ashwood Elms, so they're going to be hard to roll for. But if we find enough Burning Trees and enough Echowoods, it's not really going to matter that we don't have the Ashwood Elm as well. And I do think that we are going to be strong enough against this Geppetto with a 40 health Ashwood Elm. We could also find Evil Twins, which feel expensive when you're playing Zelhua, but if it's the only way to get Ashwood Elm, it's the only way to get Ashwood Elm. We do see an upgraded Echowood here from Geppetto, so that is also going to make it really tough for Sadrak, because me and Geppetto have all of the Echowoods, and then I've got all the Burning Trees. So they might have all the Ashwoods, but they're still going to have a tough time putting it all together. And Phoenix Feather does still do some work here with Zelhua, so it's fine. We see another Lordy. So yeah, I don't know if I should have just stayed the course with dwarves, but it's silly either way how many Lordies and trees that we've seen with this Staff of the Old Toad. I'll sell off the Lordy and then immediately find another one. So I think that's like 6 Lordies now that we've seen. Obviously, if I were to purchase them, I would be seeing less of them. but still just very funny. And then I will sell off the Princess White finally to pick up another Burning Tree, and from here I'll grab the Mimic Chest. I feel like this game is almost over. Well, actually, we can get rid of the Fairy Tale. We don't have to get rid of the Staff of the Old Toad just yet. I think that's right, because we could still find Green Knight, though we do want to consider Evil Eye, I guess, because we do have double Green Knight. Okay, I can see going either way with this one. Double Green Knight's pretty good. It's probably better than getting an additional Phoenix Feather, but it's close. This is going to be a lot more stats. It's plus 20 health to the Ashwood Elm, which is plus 20 plus 40 to both Burning Trees, which then means it's plus 40 plus 80 to both Echowood. So that was a ton of stats there in the Evil Eye. So I think that that is fine to pick up. And here is the Sad Drac. You can see they've got the Ashwood Elm, and then they've got no other trees. They've got the Robin Woods, but I don't really care about Robin Woods. I want to get the Burning Trees and the Echo Woods, and those are both going to be tough for the Sad Drac to pick up. So Geppetto actually dies to the ghost. It was the ghost that the Sad Drac killed. So now we are just up against Sad Drac, and you can see we had a 100% chance to win. They also just got to see that we have all of the Burning Trees and Echo Woods. So that is really going to make things more difficult for them to really do anything, and going to be a little bit demoralizing here. But we don't find anything either this turn. We just wind up fogging and rolling a whole bunch. So there you go. We don't really do anything with it either. But we're stronger. So it's not really on us to do something. It is on my opponent to try to put something together that can be stronger than what we're doing. And we also have Staff of the Old Toad, so we're like more likely to find relevant things than my opponent as well. But let's see if they were able to find a Burning Tree or anything. Nope, just trees. Just some basic trees. They are scaling off of the Heartwood Elder, and then they've got the upgraded Green Knight, but that is not going to be enough here. We are going to be able to get this win, and then we'll have this Phoenix Feather come in too. So we'll hit the Sad Drac for a nice chunk of damage, down to 2, only really surviving because of that secret stash, as well as the Ring of Regeneration that they've been making really good use of. We'll go for a Flourish on the Heartwood, what's this card called? Ashwood Elm, and then we'll pick up a Green Knight. So a bunch more stats on, well, the Green Knight upgrade doesn't give more stats, but we can take Ivory Owl here. That probably seems fine to toss the Staff of the Old Toad at this point, because we are on to the last combat of the game. I guess that means I'm putting in Hercules, though. I'll probably buy this Soul Tack Ancient. It's just a tree, and I'll just take any tree at this point just to, it'll have a bunch of attack, so that'll be nice. And then my opponent will actually forfeit, and that will be the end of this video. And I just thought this was a really funny one with the kind of back and forth. Should we play trees? Should we play dwarves? Kind of buying the cards for both of them, and then how many lordies we wound up seeing. And really, I think that this game was a great demonstration of how to transition. We had a little bit of a shaky early game, but we were able to piece some things back together and then buy some XP, as well as just pick up all of the units that we needed as Zelhua, and turned it into something pretty strong there. So that is going to be it for me today. Thank you guys very much for watching. I'm NoLucksGiven. Peace.